still remember the day everything changed. Hey, are you really going to tell her? Jason asked, grinning like he already knew I would fail. I am, I said. I'm tired of hiding it. He laughed. Man, this is going to be interesting. My hands were shaking as I walked toward Emily. Lily was standing next to her, scrolling on her phone. My heart was beating so loud I felt everyone could hear it. Emily, can I talk to you for a minute? I asked. She looked at Lily, then back at me. Sure. What is it? I swallowed. I like you. I've liked you for a long time. I just wanted to know if you would give me a chance. For a second, she just stared at me. Then she laughed. She actually laughed. Lily covered her mouth and whispered, Wait, are you serious right now? Emily looked at me again. You like me? Yes, I said quietly. I do. Jason's voice came from behind me. Oh man, this is painful. Emily shook her head, still smiling like this was a joke. I'm sorry, but I don't see you that way. Not even close. I felt my face getting hot. Oh, okay. I understand. But she didn't stop there. I mean, we're just different, she said. You're nice, but you're not really my type. Lily laughed again. Emily, stop, you're going to make him cry. I'm not going to cry, I said quickly, even though my chest felt tight. Jason walked closer. Bro, you really thought you had a chance. I forced a small laugh. It's fine. I just wanted to be honest. Emily crossed her arms. Look, I don't want this to be awkward. Let's just pretend this never happened, okay? Yeah, I said. Sure. No problem. But it was a problem. It was a huge problem. Everyone was looking at me. Some people were whispering. Someone in the back actually laughed out loud. Jason leaned toward me and said quietly, You should have kept that to yourself. I looked at him and said, Yeah, I know that now. Emily said, I hope you're not mad. I'm not mad, I said. I just feel stupid. She didn't say anything to that. Lily looked at me and said, You'll find someone else. Don't worry. I nodded, even though I felt like my chest was collapsing. Yeah, sure. Someone else. Jason patted my shoulder. Come on, man. Let's go. As we walked away, he said, I told you this was a bad idea. I know, I said. Then why did you do it? He asked. I thought for a moment. Because I didn't want to regret not trying. He sighed. Well, now you have a different regret. Yeah, I said quietly. Now I do. When I got home, my father looked at me and said, You look terrible. What happened? Nothing, I said. Just a long day. He didn't believe me. Sit down, he said. Tell me. I sat across from him and said, I told a girl I liked her today. She rejected me. In front of everyone. He was quiet for a few seconds. Then he said, Did you die? I looked at him. What? Did you die? He repeated. No. Then you're fine, he said. But you learned something today. What did I learn? I asked. You learn how the world really works, he said. Respect is not given. It is earned. I didn't say anything. He continued, If you don't like how people treat you, become someone they can't ignore. I went to my room and stood in front of the mirror. I looked at my face and said, You let them laugh at you. My reflection stared back at me, silent and weak. I won't stay like this, I told myself. I won't be the guy people laugh at. I took a deep breath and said, I'm going to change. I'm going to become stronger, smarter, and better. Not for her. Not for them. For me. I looked at myself one more time and said, One day, they will remember this day. And I will remember it too. But next time, I won't be the one standing there feeling small. That was the night I made a promise to myself. And I knew my life was going to change. I said, Remember this feeling. Remember this pain. This is where you started. This is where you become someone new. I turned off the light and lay on my bed, staring into the dark, repeating one sentence again and again. I will not be weak again. And that was the moment I stopped being a boy and decided I would become a man, no matter how long it took. I will prove it to myself. Someday. I knew school was going to be bad, but I didn't know it would be this bad. As soon as I walked into the classroom, I heard someone whisper, "That's him." Another voice said, "The guy who got rejected." I kept walking and pretended I didn't hear anything. Jason looked at me and smirked. "Hey, Romeo. Any new confessions today?" "Leave me alone, Jason," I said, sitting down. He leaned back in his chair. "I'm just asking. Maybe try again. Maybe she'll laugh less this time." Some people laughed. I gripped my pen harder but said nothing. Jason wasn't done. "You know what your problem is? You aim too high." I looked at him. "And you talk too much." He smiled. "At least I don't confess in public and embarrass myself." I stood up so fast my chair moved loudly. I said, "Leave me alone." He stood up too. "Or what?" I stepped closer. "Or I'm going to forget we are in school." He looked surprised for a second, then laughed. "Oh wow, the quiet guy is angry." "I'm serious," I said. Our classmates started watching. One of them said, "Fight, fight." Jason looked at me for a few seconds, then raised his hands. "Relax. I don't fight people who are already losing in life." That sentence hit harder than anything else. I slowly sat down again and said nothing. After class, I heard more whispers. Why would he think she would say yes? I almost felt bad for him. Almost. I walked out of school alone. Jason called from behind me, "Hey, don't be so sad. Rejection builds character." I didn't turn around. I just raised my hand and waved without looking back. When I got home, my father was sitting in the living room. He looked at me and said, "Bad day again." "Every day is a bad day now," I said. He nodded. "Good." I frowned. "Good." "Yes," he said. "Bad days teach you more than good days." I sat down and said, "People laugh at me every day." He asked, "And what are you going to do about it?" "I don't know," I said. "I feel angry all the time." "Anger is not bad," he said. "But it is useless if you don't use it." I looked at him. "What does that mean?" "It means if you want respect, earn it," he said. "No one gives respect for free." I stayed quiet. He continued, "Do you want people to stop laughing at you?" "Yes," I said. "Then become someone they can't laugh at." "How?" I asked. He pointed at my head. "Make this stronger." Then he pointed at my chest. "Make this stronger." Then he pointed toward my room. "And go study." I almost smiled. "That's your solution to everything." "It works," he said. "Discipline beats talent. Hard work beats excuses." I went to my room but stopped at the door and asked, "Dad, what if I fail?" He answered, "Then fail better next time." That night, I sat at my desk and looked at my books. "All right," I said to myself. "If I'm going to be a joke, I might as well be a successful joke." The next day at school, Jason said, "Hey, you look tired. Crying all night." "No," I said. "Working." He laughed. "Working on what?" "How to confess better." "Working on myself," I said. He smiled. "We'll see how long that lasts." "We will," I said. Days passed, and I stopped talking to most people. When someone laughed, I ignored it. When Jason talked, I gave short answers. One day he said, "Why are you so quiet now?" "I have nothing to say to you," I replied. He said, "You changed." "I'm changing," I said. At home, my father asked me, "What did you do today?" I stuttered. "I ran. I worked out." I stuttered again, I said. He nodded. "Good. Do it again tomorrow." "This is lonely," I said. He looked at me and said, "The road to respect is always lonely." I went to my room and looked at myself in the mirror again. "I'm still the same guy," I said. Then I shook my head. "No, not the same. Not anymore." I took a deep breath and said, "I don't need them to like me. I just need to become someone I can respect." I turned off the light and said quietly, "This is rock bottom. The only way left is up." And for the first time since that day, I felt a small amount of control over my life again. I didn't notice him at first. "You're here again," a voice said behind me. I looked up from my book. "Yeah." He pulled out the chair across from me and sat down. "You've been here every evening this week." "I like studying," I said. He smiled. "No, you don't. No one does. You're running from something." I closed my book slowly. "And if I am?" "Then you're doing it the right way," he said. "Better than most people." I looked at him carefully. "Who are you?" "Daniel," he said. "Senior. Top of the class. And someone who used to sit exactly where you're sitting." I frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means I've seen that look before," he said. "Anger, shame, and something to prove." I didn't answer. He leaned forward. "Let me guess. Someone embarrassed you." I sighed. "Something like that." He nodded. "Good." I blinked. "Why does everyone say that?" "Because pain is useful," he said. "If you use it right." I leaned back. "And what if I don't know how?" "Then you learn," he said. "That's where I come in." I crossed my arms. "Why would you help me?" He shrugged. "Because no one helped me. And I wasted a lot of time." I hesitated. "So what's your advice?" He smiled. "Simple. Success is the best revenge." "I'm not trying to get revenge," I said. "Good," he replied. "Then do it for yourself. That's even better." I looked down at my notes. "I've been studying, but I don't feel like I'm improving fast enough." "Because you're working hard, not smart," he said. "What's the difference?" I asked. He pointed at my notebook. "You're reading everything. You need to focus on what matters." "Like what?" I asked. "Patterns, key ideas, repetition," he said. "And confidence." I laughed a little. "Confidence isn't something I can just study." He smiled. "Yes, it is." "How?" I asked. "By doing things that make you uncomfortable," he said. "Speaking up, taking risks, failing and trying again." I shook my head. "That sounds hard." "It is," he said. "That's why most people don't do it." I looked at him for a moment. "And you think I can do it?" He didn't hesitate. "Yes." That one word felt strange. "Why?" I asked quietly. "Because you're still here," he said. "Most people quit after one bad moment. You didn't." I didn't know what to say. He stood up. "Come here tomorrow. Same time." "For what?" I asked. "Training," he said. "If you're serious about changing." "I am," I said. He nodded. "Good. Then prove it." The next day, I was there early. Daniel sat down and said, "First lesson. Stop caring about what people think." "That's not easy," I said. "I didn't say it was easy," he replied. "I said it was necessary." He pushed a book toward me. "Explain this topic to me." "I just learned it," I said. "I might get it wrong." "Good," he said. "Start." I took a breath and began explaining. He stopped me halfway. "Too slow. Be confident." "I'm trying," I said. "Don't try. Decide," he said. I straightened my back and started again. "This concept works because—" "Better," he said. Days turned into weeks. One evening, he asked, "What changed?" "I don't feel as angry anymore," I said. He nodded. "That's because you're focusing your energy." "I still remember everything," I said. "You always will," he replied. "But it won't control you forever." "At school," Jason said, "you've been quiet lately." "I've been busy," I said. "Doing what?" he asked. "Improving," I replied. He laughed. "We'll see." "We will," I said calmly. Later that day, Mrs. Carter handed back our tests. "Good improvement," she said, looking at me. "Thank you," I replied. She added, "Keep going. You're capable of more." That was the first time a teacher said something like that to me. In the hallway, I heard someone whisper, "He's actually doing better now." "Yeah, I noticed that," another voice said. I kept walking, but this time, I didn't feel small. One afternoon, Emily walked toward me. "Hey," she said. "Can we talk?" I looked at her. For a second, the old feelings came back. Then I said, "I'm busy." "It will only take a minute," she said. "I don't have a minute," I replied. She looked surprised. "You're different." "I am," I said. She hesitated. "I didn't mean to." "I know," I said, cutting her off. "But it doesn't matter anymore." I walked past her without looking back. That night, I sat in the library again. Daniel looked at me and said, "You handled that well." "You saw?" I asked. He nodded. "I see everything." I smiled slightly. It still hurt. "It will hurt for a while," he said. "But you didn't stop. That's what matters." I looked at my books and said, "I'm not the same person anymore." He leaned back and said, "No, you're not." I took a deep breath and said quietly, "And I'm not going back." A year can change a person. Is that really you? Jason asked when he saw me in the hallway. "Yeah," I said. "It's really me." He looked a little uncomfortable. "You look different." "I am different," I replied. He nodded slowly. "You've been going to the gym or something." "Something like that," I said. He hesitated, then said, "Your grades are really high now." "I worked for that," I said. "Yeah, I can see that," he replied. "Well, good for you." It was strange hearing that from him. Later that day, Mrs. Carter said, "I want to announce the students selected for the business competition." My classmates started whispering. She continued, "Daniel, Emily, Jason, Sophie, and you." I looked up. "Me?" She smiled. "Yes, you. Your grades and project scores earned it." After class, Jason walked up to me. "Looks like we're on the same battlefield now." "This isn't a battlefield," I said. "It's a competition." He smirked. "Everything is a competition." Emily walked over, holding her books. "So, we are rivals now." I looked at her calmly. "Looks like it." She nodded. "You've changed." "I know," I said. She looked like she wanted to say more, but she didn't. Then someone new walked up to us. "Hi, I'm Sophie. I guess we are all suffering together in this competition." Jason laughed. "Suffering is the right word." I smiled a little. "Nice to meet you." She looked at me and said, "You're the quiet one everyone talks about, right?" I raised an eyebrow. "People talk about me." She nodded. "Yeah. They say you went from invisible to unstoppable." Jason said, "That's actually true." I said, "I'm just working hard." Sophie smiled. "Hard work is attractive. I respect that." I didn't know what to say to that, so I just said, "Thank you." A few days later, we had our first competition meeting with Mr. Wilson. He walked into the room and said, "This competition is not about ideas. It's about execution. Do you understand?" "Yes," we all said. He pointed at me. "You. What's your role?" "Strategy and presentation," I said. He nodded. "Good. Confidence matters more than perfection." Jason whispered to me, "No pressure." I whispered back, "I like pressure." He smirked. "You really did change." During the next few weeks, we worked on our projects every day. One evening, Sophie and I were still in the classroom working. She looked at me and asked, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure," I said. "Were you always like this?" she asked. "Focused, calm, confident." I shook my head. "No, not always." "What changed?" she asked. I thought for a moment. "Pain." She didn't laugh. She didn't look uncomfortable. She just nodded. "That makes sense," she said. I looked at her and asked, "Why are you so calm all the time?" She smiled. "Because I learned that panic doesn't solve problems." "That's a good lesson," I said. She looked at me and said, "You know, You're easy to talk to. Really? I asked. Yeah, she said. You listen more than you talk. I smiled a little. I used to talk more. What happened? She asked. I learned that silence is sometimes stronger, I said. She nodded slowly. I like that. One afternoon, our teams had to present practice ideas in front of everyone. After I finished speaking, Mr. Wilson said, "Very good. Clear, confident, and smart." Jason whispered, "Top student and top speaker. Save some success for the rest of us." I smirked slightly. Work harder. Emily presented after me. She did well, but I could see she was nervous. After the presentations, she walked up to me and said, "You were really good." "Thank you," I said. She hesitated. "I didn't know you had that in you." "I didn't either," I said. That evening, Sophie and I walked out of school together. She said, "You know, I'm glad we are on the same team." "Me too," I said. She looked at me and smiled. "You're not like the other guys here." "Is that good or bad?" I asked. "Good," she said. "You don't try to impress people. You just do your work." I looked at her and asked, "And that's enough?" She nodded. "For the right people, it is." For the first time in a long time, I felt something warm in my chest. Not anger. Not pain. Something peaceful. And for the first time in a long time, I realized something. I was finally becoming someone I respected. And for the first time in a long time, I started smiling again. I knew something was different the moment Emily said my name again. "Hey, can we talk?" she asked after class. I didn't look surprised. "About what?" She hesitated. "About everything." I closed my notebook slowly. "I don't think there's anything left to talk about." "There is for me," she said quietly. I looked at her. Her voice wasn't confident like before. "Fine," I said. 1 minute. We stepped into the empty hallway. She took a breath. "I didn't mean to hurt you back then." I stayed silent. "I was immature," she continued. "I cared too much about what people thought. I thought it was funny. I didn't realize how much it would affect you." I looked straight at her. "You laughed." She looked down. "I know." "You didn't just reject me," I said. "You made me a joke." "I regret that," she said quickly. "Do you?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "Every time I see you now, I feel it." I crossed my arms. "That's your problem, not mine." She flinched slightly. "I deserve that." I didn't respond. She said softly, "You've changed so much." "I had to," I said. "Because of me?" she asked. "Because of what happened," I replied. She nodded slowly. "I wish I could take it back." "You can't," I said. There was a long silence. "I'm sorry," she said again. I took a breath. "I heard you." She looked at me, waiting for something more. But I didn't give it. Later that day, Sophie sat next to me and said, "You look serious. What happened?" "Emily talked to me," I said. She raised an eyebrow. "And?" "She apologized," I replied. Sophie leaned back. "How did that make you feel?" I thought for a moment. Confused. "That's normal," she said. "I don't hate her," I said. "But I don't feel anything either." Sophie smiled slightly. "That means you're healing." "Or I'm just tired," I said. She shook her head. "No. You're stronger." I looked at her. "What would you do?" She shrugged. "Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you." "So I should forgive her?" I asked. "I didn't say that," she replied. "I said you should decide what gives you peace." I nodded slowly. "Peace sounds good." She smiled. "Then choose that." During the next competition meeting, Mr. Wilson said, "The next round will eliminate half the teams. Only the best will move forward." Jason whispered to me, "No pressure again." I said quietly, "We are ready." Our team presented first. After we finished, Mr. Wilson nodded. "Strong strategy. Clear vision." Sophie smiled at me. "We did well." I said, "We did." Emily's team went next. I could see the difference. They were nervous. Their plan wasn't as strong. After the session, Jason said, "They're slipping." I glanced at Emily. "Yeah." Later, Emily approached me again. "I saw your presentation," she said. "You were amazing." "Thank you," I replied. She hesitated. "Can I ask you something?" "What?" I said. "Do you hate me?" she asked. I looked at her carefully. "No." "Then why do you act like I don't exist?" she asked. "Because it's easier," I said. "Easier for who?" she asked. "For me," I replied. She looked hurt. "I'm trying to fix things." "You can't fix the past," I said. "Then what can I do?" she asked. I paused. "Move forward." "Without you?" she asked. I didn't answer. That night, Sophie and I stayed late again. She said, "You're thinking about her." "Yeah," I admitted. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I don't know," I said. "Part of me wants to forgive her. Part of me wants to forget everything." Sophie looked at me and said, "Your past doesn't define you." I repeated her words quietly. "My past doesn't define me." "It doesn't," she said. "What you do now does." I looked at her. "And what am I doing now?" "You're building a better life," she said. I smiled slightly. "With you in it." She smiled back. "If you want me there." "I do," I said. She nodded. "Then don't let the past pull you back." I took a deep breath. "I won't." The next competition results were announced a few days later. Mr. Wilson said, "The teams moving forward are yours." Sophie grabbed my arm. "We did it." I smiled. "Yeah, we did." Then he continued, "Emily's team is eliminated." The room went quiet. I looked at her. She looked shocked. After the announcement, she walked past me without saying anything. For a moment, I felt something. Not pain. Not anger. Just distance. Jason said, "The tables have turned." I nodded. "Yeah, they have." That night, I stood alone for a while and said to myself, "This is the choice." I closed my eyes and added, "And I'm not going back." I started noticing the change slowly. Jason sat next to me one morning and said, "Have you heard?" "Heard what?" I asked. "Emily's team falling apart," he said. "Their sponsor dropped them, and Lily joined another group." I looked up. Lily left her. "Yeah," he said. "People follow success, not failure." I didn't respond. Jason studied my face. "You don't look happy about it." "I'm not," I said. "You don't look sad either," he added. "I'm not that either," I said quietly. Later that day, I saw Emily sitting alone in the cafeteria. No Lily. No friends. No loud laughter around her. Just silence. Jason followed my eyes and said, "The Queen lost her throne." "Don't call her that," I said. He raised his hands. "Relax. Just saying." I stood up. "I have work to do." That evening, I stayed late to finish some competition work. When I walked into the hallway, I heard a voice behind me. "Can we talk?" I didn't need to turn around. I knew it was her. "I don't think talking will change anything," I said. "Please," she said. "Just this once." I turned around slowly. She looked different. Not weaker, just quieter. "Okay," I said. "Talk." She took a deep breath. "I messed up a lot of things." I stayed silent. She continued, "I lost the competition. I lost my friends. And I think I lost my chance to fix what I did to you." "You didn't lose that," I said calmly. "You never had it." She nodded slowly. "That's fair." We stood there in silence for a few seconds. "I was stupid," she said. "I cared about popularity, attention, stupid things that don't matter now." I said nothing. "I hurt you," she continued. "And I didn't even apologize properly back then because I didn't think I did anything wrong." "You didn't think laughing at someone was wrong?" I asked. She looked down. "I told you. I was stupid." "Yes," I said. You were. She looked at me again. I regret it. I regret that day more than anything. I crossed my arms. Regret is a heavy thing. I know, she said. I carry it every day. I studied her face. She wasn't lying. I came to ask you something, she said carefully. What? I asked. Can we start over? She asked. Not like before. Just start over. As friends. Or just people who don't hate each other. I took a long breath and looked at her. And in that moment, I realized something important. The girl I loved didn't exist anymore. Maybe she never existed at all. I don't hate you, I said slowly. She looked hopeful for a second. But I don't need you anymore, I continued. Her expression changed, but she didn't interrupt. I loved the idea of you, I said. Not the real you. She swallowed but nodded. That makes sense. I spent a long time thinking you were the reason I changed, I said. But that's not true. I changed because I was tired of being weak. She said quietly, I'm sorry. I know, I replied. I really am, she said again. I believe you, I said. She looked surprised. You do? Yes, I said. But believing you doesn't change anything. She nodded slowly. I understand. I looked at her for a moment and then said, You asked if we can start over. Yes, she said softly. We can't, I said. She closed her eyes for a second but didn't argue. I don't hate you, I repeated. But I don't need you in my life anymore. She took a deep breath and said, That hurts. But I deserve it. This isn't revenge, I said. This is just the truth. She nodded again. I know. There was a long silence between us. Then she said, I'm glad you're doing well. Thank you, I said. And, I'm glad you became strong, she added. I replied, Me too. She gave a small, sad smile. Goodbye. Goodbye, Emily, I said. She walked away slowly, and I didn't stop her. I stood there alone in the hallway and took a deep breath. Then I said quietly to myself, It's over. And for the first time, I felt completely free. The final day came faster than I expected. Jason looked at me and said, This is it. No second chances. I know, I said. We are ready. Sophie adjusted her notes. We didn't come this far to lose. I nodded. We won't. Mr. Wilson walked into the room and said, Final presentations. One chance. Make it count. I took a deep breath and whispered, Let's finish this. When it was our turn, Jason said quietly, Lead us. I stepped forward and began. Our idea is not just a plan. It's a solution. As I spoke, I felt calm. No fear. No hesitation. Halfway through, I heard Sophie say softly, You've got this. I continued, stronger. We focused on real problems and real results. When I finished, there was silence for a moment. Then Mr. Wilson nodded. Excellent. Clear, confident, and impactful. Jason whispered, That was perfect. I said quietly, We did it together. After all the teams presented, we waited. Jason paced. I hate waiting. Sophie said, Relax. We did our best. I stood still. Whatever happens, we earned it. Mr. Wilson returned with the results. The winning team is. He paused, then said our names. Jason shouted, Yes. Sophie grabbed my arm. We won. I smiled. Yeah, we really did. Mr. Wilson looked at me and said, You stood out the most. Have you considered pursuing this professionally? I have, I said. He nodded. You should. I can recommend you. Thank you, I replied. Later, Daniel found me outside. I watched your presentation, he said. What did you think? I asked. He smiled. I'm proud of you. Those words meant more than the victory. I couldn't have done it without you, I said. You did the work, he replied. I just pointed the way. I needed that, I said. He nodded. And now you don't. I looked at him. You think I'm ready? I know you are, he said. That evening, I went home. My father was sitting in the same chair as always. How did it go? He asked. We won, I said. He stood up slowly and walked toward me. For a second, I thought he would say something serious. Instead, he held out his hand. I looked at it, then shook it. Good job, he said. You earned it. Thank you, I said. He looked at me and added, You became a real man. I didn't know what to say. I'm still learning, I said. You always will, he replied. That's the point. Later that night, Sophie called me. Hey, she said. Winner. I smiled. Hey. She laughed softly. I knew we'd win. I believed it too, I said. There was a small pause. Then she said, Can I tell you something? Of course, I said. I like you, she said. Not just as a teammate. As more. I stayed quiet for a moment. I like you too, I said. She exhaled. Good. I was hoping you'd say that. I smiled. But. She laughed lightly. There's always a but. I want to focus on my future first, I said. I don't want to rush anything. She said calmly, I know. You do. I asked. Yes, she replied. That's why I said it now. Not to pressure you, but to be honest. I felt relieved. Thank you for understanding. She added, Your future matters. And I want to be part of it, not something that holds you back. You won't hold me back, I said. I still want you to choose it first, she said. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. I will. After the call ended, I sat in silence for a while. Then I said to myself, this isn't about proving anyone wrong anymore. I thought about everything that happened. The rejection. The pain. The long nights. I'm not doing this for them, I said quietly. I looked at my reflection and added, I'm doing this for me. For the first time, I understood something clearly. Success wasn't revenge. It was proof. Proof that I could become better. Proof that I could rise. And most importantly, proof that I was never as weak as I once believed. The sun was bright that morning, and the school courtyard buzzed with excitement. Graduation day had finally arrived. I adjusted my gown and looked around at the familiar faces. Some smiled, some whispered, but I felt calm. For the first time, I didn't care who noticed me. Then I heard it, her voice. Hey, can we talk for a minute? I turned slowly. Emily stood there, dressed in her cap and gown. She looked nervous, her hands twisting the edge of her robe. I didn't move immediately. I know this might be awkward, she started, but I need to say something. I nodded slightly. Go ahead. She took a deep breath. I'm sorry. Truly. For everything. For the rejection, for the laughter, for making you feel small in front of everyone. I stayed quiet, letting her words sink in. I was arrogant, she continued, and I didn't realize how much my actions could hurt someone. I've lost friends, respect. I've lost a lot because of who I was. I see it now. Her voice shook, and I noticed her eyes glisten. Part of me remembered the pain vividly, the humiliation, the nights staring at my reflection, feeling worthless. But that wasn't who I was anymore. Emily. I started, my voice steady. I hear you. I don't expect you to forgive me, she said quickly. I just wanted you to know that I regret it all. Every moment I hurt you, I regret it. I looked at her for a long moment. Then I smiled faintly. I forgive you. She blinked, surprised. You do. Yes, I said. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. She exhaled, relief washing over her face. I can't believe it. Thank you. I nodded. And thank you, Emily. She tilted her head, confused. For what? For making me stronger, I said. For showing me what I didn't want to become. For pushing me to rise. Her eyes softened, and she looked away briefly. I never thought of it that way. I shrugged lightly. Neither did I, at first. But everything you did, every mistake, every word, it shaped me. I'm grateful, in a strange way. She laughed softly, a sound that used to annoy me but now seemed genuine. I guess I can't ruin everything forever. Apparently not, I said. There was a moment of silence. Birds chirped in the courtyard, and the laughter of other graduates filled the air. I'm really sorry for being so blind, she said quietly. I thought I was the center of everything, but I wasn't. I hurt people I cared about, including you. I nodded. It's over now. Her eyes searched mine. Does this change anything? Only in a good way, I replied. You can move on. I can move on. No more grudges, no more pain. She smiled faintly. It's strange. I always thought I had all the control, all the power. And now, I feel powerless. You didn't have power, I said gently. Not over me. You had choices. But I chose my path, and it didn't include bitterness. She swallowed and nodded. I'm proud of you. Thanks, I said. I hope you can find the same for yourself. For a long moment, we just stood there. Not awkward, not tense, just closure. Then she said softly, I wish I had done things differently. You did, I replied, by letting me become who I am. That was your unintentional gift. Her lips twitched into a small smile. I never thought my mistakes could be a gift. They were, I said. To both of us. You learned humility, I learned strength. She nodded. I guess this is goodbye, then. I took a step closer. Yes. Goodbye, Emily. Goodbye, she whispered, her voice barely audible. She turned and walked away slowly, leaving me standing in the courtyard. I watched her until she disappeared into the crowd. Then I looked at the sky, the sun warm on my face. A weight lifted from my shoulders. I breathed deeply. This is peace, I said to myself. Finally. I thought of Sophie, of Daniel, of my father, all the people who had supported me, guided me, and believed in me. A small smile spread across my face. I made it. I really made it. No anger. No hurt. Just calm, quiet satisfaction. For the first time, I truly felt free. I whispered one last time, almost to myself, thank you, for everything, even the pain. And with that, I turned toward the future, leaving the past where it belonged. The reunion hall was buzzing with chatter and laughter. I walked in, adjusting my suit, feeling a strange mix of nerves and calm. I wasn't the same person I had been in high school. I wasn't the boy who had been humiliated, who had felt small and invisible. I was me now, confident, steady, in control of my life. Daniel, a familiar voice called. I turned to see one of my old classmates waving. Hey, I said with a polite smile. Wow, he said, stepping closer. You look amazing. Thank you, I replied. As I moved further into the hall, I noticed Jason. He froze for a moment when our eyes met. Hey, I said casually. He swallowed and said, I'm sorry. For what? I asked, my tone calm. For everything, he said. Back in school. I shouldn't have laughed, teased, made fun of you. I was a jerk. I stuttered him. The old resentment flickered for a second, but it didn't stay. I accept that, I said. You were young, and so was I. Things change. He nodded, relief washing over his face. I'm glad to hear that. You've done really well. Thanks, I said simply. I moved on and noticed Emily across the room. She looked at me, and I could see it in her eyes, regret mixed with respect. Not the old arrogance, not the laughter that used to cut me down. Just understanding. She approached me hesitantly. Hey, she said softly. Hello, Emily, I said. I wanted to say congratulations, she said. I've been following what you've done. You're successful, confident. Everything I never realized you were capable of. I nodded. Thank you. That means a lot. I'm sorry, she said again, almost whispering. For everything back then. You've apologized before, I said. I forgive you. But I don't dwell on the past anymore. She smiled faintly. You've really changed. I had to, I said quietly. Not for anyone else. For me. She looked at me, a hint of admiration in her eyes. I can see that now. Before she could say more, Sophie walked up beside me. You look happy, she said, her hand brushing mine. I smiled at her. I am. You should be, she said. You've worked hard for this. You deserve it. I took a deep breath. I kept my promise. To yourself? She asked. Yes, I said. To rise without letting anyone else control my worth. I did it for me, not for revenge, not for pride, but for my self-respect. Sophie smiled, her eyes shining. And you did it beautifully. We stood together for a moment, watching the room. I saw old friends mingling, some recognizing me with new respect. It felt surreal. A teacher I hadn't seen in years approached. I remember you from high school, she said. You've become remarkable. Truly remarkable. Thank you, I said. I owe a lot to those days too. She looked curious. Really? How so? I thought for a moment. The challenges, the people who doubted me, they all pushed me to become stronger, to focus, to define my own path. I didn't do it for them. I did it for myself. She nodded slowly. That's inspiring. I glanced back at Sophie. I couldn't have done it without support too, I said. Not just hard work or determination, but someone who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Sophie leaned in slightly. I'll always be here, she said softly. And I'll always appreciate that, I said. Later, Jason came by again. You really changed, he said. I'm proud of you. Thank you, I said. I'm glad you recognize that. He nodded and looked down for a moment. I guess I underestimated you all those years. You're not the only one who misjudged things, I said. But we all grow. He laughed awkwardly. Yeah, we do. I turned to Emily again, who was talking quietly to someone else. She glanced at me and smiled faintly. I nodded back. That was all that was needed. Mutual acknowledgement, no lingering bitterness. As the night went on, Sophie and I stood near the windows, looking out at the city lights. You look at peace, she said. I am, I said. Finally. I'm at peace with myself and the past. She smiled. I'm happy for you. For us. I looked at her and said, I'm happy too. We've both grown, and we've done it together. She took my hand. We make a good team. We do, I agreed. I thought back to that day. I confessed my feelings and was humiliated. Back then, I felt weak, small, worthless. I remembered the anger, the loneliness, the pain. And now, looking around the room, I realized how far I had come. I wasn't seeking revenge on anyone. I wasn't trying to prove anything to them. I had only wanted to prove something to myself. And I did. I glanced at Emily one last time. She looked older, wiser, changed. No arrogance, no laughter at someone else's expense. I felt nothing but calm. Then I looked at Jason. He seemed different too, respectful, humbled. And finally, I looked at Sophie, standing beside me, smiling genuinely. I realized she had been there through the transformation, the quiet support, the belief, the encouragement. I squeezed her hand gently. I did it, I whispered. You did, she said softly. And for the first time in my life, I felt complete. Not because anyone had recognized me, not because I had won competitions or gained respect, but because I had kept my promise to myself. I had risen without her, without anyone's permission, without needing revenge or validation. I had done it for my own self-respect. I breathed deeply, taking in the sounds, the laughter, the lights, the people. This is what it feels like, I said quietly, to finally be free. Sophie leaned on my shoulder, and I smiled. We've come a long way, she said. We have, I said. And this is only the beginning. I looked around the room one last time, remembering the past, but not letting it weigh me down. I had grown stronger, wiser, and happier. I had forgiven, I had let go, and I had chosen my own path. And most importantly, I had risen exactly the way I promised myself I would. Not for anyone else. Only for me. And that was enough.